Hello, this is Steven, and yes, we're back with another Batman 66 episode review, and we'll be picking up where we last left off. Without further ado, let's pop into the review. When we last left off, the Penguin had broken into the Gotham City Library and was trying to steal a priceless folio of rare parasols. Just on his way out, he is quickly cornered by Batman, Robin, Commissioner Gordon, and Chief O'Hara, but he uses his trick umbrella to distract them and makes his escape. Batman decides to let him run off, hoping that it would overplay his hand and hoping to deduce his real purpose. Just as that happened, Barbara walks in and they explain how the Penguin's gotten away with the parasol. Just as he's about to call Bruce Wayne to inform him of the loss of the parasol, Batman says don't, and he'll have the parasol back and hopefully uncover Penguin's plan. We do the opening credits, and we are at Penguin's bookmaking shop, where the horse now resembles a different horse and goes by the name of Bumbershoot. He also plans to have all the horses scratch and have his bookmaking person place a big bet on Parasol and hoping the odds to be higher. But the problem is he needs money, so he looks through the Gotham City Times and specifically the rare folio section and hoping someone would want to buy it. He comes across someone who would be interested and calls him up. The person is A.L. Fred. Long story short, the Penguin gets his money and they get the folio back. Batman, of course, then gets a call from a person within his organization who runs the racing, saying how all the horses have been scratched with only Parasol and a late entry by the name of Bumbershoot, and it just happens to be the Penguin dressed up as a jockey. Bruce clearly knows it's the Penguin. He tells him to let him enter, but to also that Wayne Stables will be entering one of their horses as well. Batman then deduces that clearly the Penguin is trying to fix this horse race for his own end. But realizing that he has Robin go as the jockey for Parasol in hopes to try to win it, as the jockey for Parasol has suddenly disappeared, kidnapped by Penguin, so that way they would not know the horse was a fake. However, with that, he also needs someone to ride the Wayne Stable horse, and he realizes there's only one person who could fit that: Batgirl. Of course, we get a scene where Barbara calls up Bruce Wayne and informs about the loss of the Parasol, but he gets to tell her that the folio is back in his possession. We then cut to Penguin and his men at the hideout when they're receiving the money. Penguin hears on the radio how the Batman and Robin have got the folio back. It doesn't take him long to realize that A.L. Fred was clearly a part of this and was clearly on Batman's side. And furious at Barbara Gordon, he decides for her to send this essentially walking Penguin to Barbara Gordon to essentially get vengeance, not only for sticking her nose in his business, but to also get revenge on being rejected for marriage. We then get the scene where the Penguin does end up in the library and the poisonous gas goes up. But however, no one is harmed, and luckily Alfred was there just in the nick of time and asked to speak to Barbara Gordon. Batman, we then go back to Bruce back at Wayne Manor, having essentially one hell of a phone call with the racing secretary, saying the race is to be cancelled, and saying he will only make it go if he got a call from Batman in person saying the race should continue. Realizing that he has to go as Batman in person to the races to talk to him. Alfred Wright says he's got contact with Batgirl and says that she's agreed to be a part of the caper. We then go to the Gotham City races, where Batman is there, informing the racing secretary about the event, telling that it must go forth, and he will explain everything at the end. However, and he agrees to go for it. We also find that Nick is the jockey for Parasol, but Penguin notices that it is Dick Grayson, Bruce Wayne's ward, and realizes that something's up. He then goes and tells Lola Lasagna to go and place the bet. We then see Bruce Wayne, not Batman, sitting down with the racing secretary watching the race unfold, and we see all three horses enter the track: Bumbershoot, Parasol, and Rainbow being ridden by Batgirl. The race then starts, and for a while it seems that Bumbershoot is winning, but Rainbow runs ahead and wins the race. Everyone is uproar because everyone has betted on Parasol. But Penguin realizes his goose is cooked. Not only has he lost the race, but throughout the whole scene, the horse's color paint was dripping away. Realizing that he's lost the race, he needs to quickly get out. So he runs to the men's dress room to quickly get out. But however, Batgirl runs in after him into the restroom. Penguin then orders two of his men to get Batgirl, but she's managed to, mop the floor with them. Just as he asks for reinforcements, Batman and Robin arrive, and a big bat fight breaks out. With the Penguin's men getting knocked down, Batgirl making her escape, and the Penguin about to run off, but is quickly cornered by Commissioner Gordon, Chief O'Hara, the racing secretary, and Senora Lola Lasagna, realizing that the goose is up. It's also revealed that the racing of today will be declared permanently unofficial, and they are taken away for essentially trying to rig a horse race. Batman and Robin are left stumped, wondering where Batgirl has run off to. We end the episode with Commissioner Gordon and Barbara Gordon, or should I say the Gordons, at the Gotham City Library, where he informs her of the day's events and wants to take her out on the town. She says sure, just as she's finished dusting the Egyptology section. Clearly we can know who's going to be next week's villain. Just as they turn around, they see King Tut in the library, and he quickly runs off. Gordon then explains to Barbara about King Tut, and realizes that he must contact Batman and Robin immediately. They quickly run off to go to the Bat phone. King Tut then turns around and starts looking at the scrolls. What's he after with them? Tune in for the next episode to find out. I like how Batgirl is getting a bit involvement in the story, but it's also kind of that Batman and Robin are kind of being drifted to the sideline. But we also get to see more of Dick and Bruce in this episode. Alfred is clear that he has to play kind of like not a triple agent, but it's clear that this would have a lot of pressure on Alfred. Gordon and O'Hara are the usual selves. Burgess Meredith the Penguin is so fun as hell in this. I also like how he reacts when his plan is completely falling apart. He also keeps in continuity with him having a hatred for Barbara from the first episode, something that will be lost in his very last episode appearance, but I like we're still making a bit of that continuity. He's fun as always. Don't worry, Penguin will be back. This is not his last episode. The same cannot be said for Lola Lasagna. She was clearly meant to be a one-shot and was clearly there for foil for Burgess Meredith's Penguin. I like how the two play off each other really a lot, and also just how despite her going to prison, she still wants to be referred to as Lola Lasagna and not Lulu Schultz. She's a really fun character for me, and even though she's not that threatening of a Batman villain or not even that great, she's really fun, and I like how her whole existence was to play off the Penguin. She was clearly meant to be a one-shot. I would have liked if Ethel Merman could have actually had a chance to sing, but I'm fine with what we got. Next week's villain is King Tut. Can't wait to see where we go and how that's gonna, turn out. A Horse of Another Color for me is just like the previous one. Just like with the first part, is a fun episode. True, it's flawed in some places, but I can enjoy it for the fun of it. I also kind of get a nostalgia watching this two-parter, as when I was a kid, I actually was actually, believe it or not, around the racing and jockey thing for quite a lot of my childhood. So watching this kind of brings me back to being in the jockey room with the jockeys, or even just around the races. I was always around that kind of area. And it sort of brings a bit of nostalgia. So I kind of have a soft spot because the Penguins get involved in essentially fixing a horse race. It's just fun for me, and I get a kick out of it every time I watch it. Is this two-parter flawed? Yes. But it's enjoyable for me, and I can't deny it. There we have it, A Horse of Another Color. Join us next time when Batman, Robin, and Batgirl will be facing King Tut once again. So tune into the next Steven Hour, the next Steven channel. Ladies and gentlemen, so long for now.